So one of the most ridiculous talking points that MAGA has ever made is the one where they claim that Donald Trump loves this country so much that he ran for president when he didn't need the money. And he's not profiting off the presidency at all because he's not even taking a salary, man. He loves it so much. I mean, he was a billionaire. He had it made. He could have just spent out the rest of his life just, raking in his wealth and living it up. But instead, he loved us so much that he gave all that up to come out here and fight for us. And if you believe that, folks, I have some oceanfront property right here in East Tennessee that I'd be glad to sell you. But I have never been able to sell ice water in hell. Meanwhile, Donald Trump could sell, the Duke could sell gasoline in hell. It's the craziest thing that I have ever seen. But that is one of MAGA's biggest talking points, is that he's not doing this to profit off the presidency. And Caroline Leavitt recently said that. Take a look.
Previously from this podium that the president is abiding by all conflict of interest laws that are applicable to the president. And I think everybody, the American public, believe it's absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off of the presidency. This president was incredibly successful before giving it all up to serve our country publicly. And not only has he lost wealth, but he also almost lost his life. He has sacrificed a lot to be here, and to suggest otherwise is frankly completely absurd.
So I did grow up right here in Appalachia, and yeah, it's spelled Appalachia, like throw an apple at you. That's how you say it around here. The further west you get or the further southwest you get, suddenly it becomes Appalachia. But up here where we're at, it's Appalachia, and it always will be. I grew up here. I grew up poor. My dad was a coal truck driver. My mom, cleaned houses and worked odd jobs to make ends meet. I was always told when I went to school to be sure to eat. If they gave us seconds, to be sure and take it, because we didn't have a whole lot when I got home. There's nothing relatable to me about Donald Trump. There's no way that I've ever looked over at that dude whose daddy gave him a small loan of $1 million. There's no way that I've ever looked over at that dude and thought for 1 second that he cared about people in my part of the world. And there's never been a time that I looked over and thought, you know what, boy, he struggled. It would be totally different if Donald Trump was a guy who did come from nothing. But he came from wealth. He blew his wealth. He bankrupted casinos. He's made a train wreck out of the American government, and then he just sits back and continues to rake in wealth. And Jessica Tarloff, who tries to be the voice of reason over on Fox News, was trying to point out his recent crypto dinner, and the other hosts aren't having this because they really realize the more you talk about this, the more unrelatable Trump becomes. But at least Jessica tries right here. Take a look.
Hold on, let me get him on the phone.
Josh?
Tell him I loved his op-ed.
Right.
And Greg mentioned a staggering level of corruption. And I just got a note that the staggering level of corruption from last night's meme coin dinner.
That's what you're focusing on, the meme coin.
No, 40% of Donald Trump's wealth has been accumulated since he became president because of 2 crypto coins. The New York Times did interviews with foreign buyers of this cryptocurrency who came over here to have dinner with him. A guy from South Korea.
This is not even part of the segment.
So what?
You're talking about a meme coin.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about who's corrupt and who is profiting off the American office.
Did he try to cover that up? I don't think so.
Yeah, Caroline Leavitt said it was his personal
you're defending
capacity,
an administration that
the
covered
president.
up a dying leader, and you're sitting here going, but meme coin, meme coin.
I'm saying billions.
All right, let's
of
give Paul a
dollars.
chance to clean it up real quick. Paul, final
It is
thoughts.
clean on my side of the street.
All right, all I can say is that.
First of all, I just got to say that I do not have the temperament to do Jessica's job. There's not enough money in this world that you could pay me to sit there across from these morons and listen to them always try to find a way to spin it in Trump's favor. Notice what they did. They just started laughing about it. And then what did they do? They reached into one of their old bag of tricks, and they just started blaming it on Biden. Let's talk about Biden's health. Let's talk about what did they know. Let's not talk about the fact that Donald Trump is absolutely making a fortune. His family is making a fortune. He's doing it off of the presidential office, and it's an absolute disgrace to our country that we let this continue to go on and just find ways to laugh it off and go back and talk about Biden's health. But I wanted to dig in a little bit more on this political crypto dinner that he had, and I found this article over here on Politico, so I'm going to bring it up and we're going to read just a bit from this because this is pretty interesting, folks, and I think more people needs to be made aware of just what Trump is doing to profit off of the presidency. So here we go. What life is this? The crypto investors who bought a dinner with Trump. So Donald Trump, who in March hosted a White House summit for some cryptocurrency's biggest names, is poised to sit down with another type of digital asset fanatic, the top investors in his personalized meme coin. Among his guests, a crypto billionaire who was sued by the Securities and Exchange Commission, a former online Joker player turned crypto entrepreneur, a software engineer who converts most of his paychecks into Bitcoin, and a cybersecurity expert who conceals his face in public. So, out of all the people that I grew up with here in Appalachia, I don't know anyone that is even close to being one of those people, okay? So again, the guy's not relatable. But let's keep reading here. So more than 200 global investors in Trump's meme coin, a collectible token with no underlying value, are expected to arrive Thursday at the President's Golf Club in Virginia after scoring invitations to an exclusive dinner with Trump himself. The investors recently bought $148 million worth of meme coin, generating millions of dollars in trading fees for the Trump family and its partners behind the venture, who also control most of the token. The top 25 buyers, including crypto mogul Justin Sun and a Singapore-based startup called MemeCore, will get the chance to meet with Trump beforehand at a private reception. Now, this is coming from Morton Christensen, says, the whole week I was talking to my wife and father. Wouldn't it be insane if I get to meet the President of the United States based on a meme coin competition? What life is this? Well, it's a life that we will never live. And the majority of Trump's supporters and the voters who are still hanging on to Donald Trump, it's a life that they will never come anywhere close to living. And I'll never understand why they sit back and cheer for this dude. But the meme coin dinner, billed as the most exclusive invitation in the world, is the latest example of President's stunning pivot from crypto scourge to evangelist, an evolution that has been put on stark display since he took back power in Washington. But the gathering has set off an uproar among Democrats, ethics experts, and even a few Republicans already alarmed by Trump's family's lucrative and growing ties to digital asset businesses, many of whom contributed millions of dollars to Republicans in the 2024 election. Concerned about the blurring lines between Trump the president and Trump the businessman, many critics say the event is a pay-to-play scheme. Investors say they had to buy piles of Trump coin during a 2.5-week window to win an invite, sending the price higher and generating a bonanza of trading fees for the Trump family and its partners. Democrats want to ban presidents from offering meme coins in the future, with the House Financial Services Committee's top Democrats, Maxine Waters of Florida, set to roll out her own proposal on Thursday. A number of lawsuits, including Senators Chris Murphy of Connecticut and Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, will call on Trump to release the list of attendees, and several of the group's critics, led by progressive watchdog Public Citizen, are planning to protest the dinner outside. So, yeah, folks, anyone that thinks that Donald Trump doesn't profit off of the presidency and that he's just doing this because he loves his country so much, again, if you will buy that, I've got plenty of oceanfront property here for you to buy in Tennessee. It's absolutely insane that you would think that a man who has been grifting his entire career would somehow or another just stop grifting now because he loves America. I'm not buying it, and I'm never going to buy it, and I'm never going to look over at Donald Trump and see him relatable. The only thing that Donald Trump has in common with a lot of the people who vote for him is the hatred that he spews out, and they love him for that. He empowers them to be hateful, but he doesn't empower them to ever get close to his wealth or get close to having a chance in this world the way that he did. This great, big, beautiful bill is making people like Trump's life easier, and it's going to make his own followers' lives much harder. And they're rolling with this. They're just absolutely rolling with this. And I will never, for the life of me, understand how they can't see through the grift. Oh, man, he don't make no money off the presidency, man. He gives up his salary. The same people saying this are the same people who bought the Bibles. The same people who bought the t-shirts with the picture of the mugshot that said never surrender as he surrendered. The same people who bought sneakers. The same people who bought all the ridiculous digital trading cards. And we could sit here and go on and on and on at all of the stuff this guy has sold. So he's just not relatable to me. He's an insult to all of our intelligence, and it's been, a hell of a ride sitting here day in and day out calling him out. And you see the headlines and you say to yourself, is this satire? And then you dig in and you realize, no, it's real life. It's not Idiocracy, but we're definitely living in the prequel of Idiocracy. It's playing out right now. But folks, I truly do appreciate you for sticking around here on the channel. We're headed toward 800,000 subscribers, and I do believe we'll get there pretty soon. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you to do anything. Want to remind everybody that my new album called Fab, aka Fuck a Bunch of Billionaires, is available over on Bandcamp for download, and the link to that is in the description of this video. Also, if you ever want to check us out over on Patreon, I've been putting a lot more non-political content over there. I've been reviewing some albums and reviewing some documentaries and just talking about other things to take our mind off of crap like this. But we will stay laser focused on the issues and laser focused on the stories of the day, and try to make sense of them. And that's a challenge, but we will rise to meet that challenge. And I truly appreciate all of you for being here with me.